6,500 miles from the mainland United States in the Central Pacific lies a group of islands collectively known as Micronesia. Although the total area of Micronesia is 3 million square miles, its landmass is just half the size of the state of Rhode Island. 100,000 people live on these islands, a trust territory of the United States since the Second World War. In 1967, the U.S. Department of Interior sought bids for regularly scheduled airline service in Micronesia. A new modern service was required to help bring the area into the 20th century. But this new service posed problems of great magnitude for any airline. The Guam Daily News best summed up the situation. They've got thousands of problems ahead of them. They've got tourist potential, but no tourists. And if they get tourists, they've got no hotels to put them in. They've got thousands of miles of ocean, but few people to haul, few airports to land in, fewer mechanics to service the planes. The area was remembered primarily for its rich World War II history, which unfolded throughout Micronesia's Marianas, Marshall, and Caroline Island chains. Thus, the challenge was made. The situation seemed impossible. Who would answer this awesome challenge?
I'm Robert F. Six, Chairman of the Board and Chief Executive Officer of Continental Airlines, headquartered in Los Angeles, California. Continental Airlines has always been interested in expansion from a small regional carrier in the Pacific. And after the original Pacific case, which we were not too successful, we looked upon ways and means of putting our roots in the Pacific. We were familiar with the then contract operation that Pan American Airways had with the Micronesian Islands. At that time, they were served primarily by flying boats with very infrequent, unsatisfactory, and unreliable service. Kenny Charles, an old friend, was the chairman of the board of Aloha Airlines I've known for many years. Kenny was thoroughly familiar with that territory.
I received a telephone call from Bob Six of Continental Airlines inviting me to join him one evening in Los Angeles, at which time he brought about a concept which would bring together not only Continental Airlines, but Aloha Airlines and a group of Micronesians to start Air Micronesia. Out of that emerged an extraordinary proposal which was made to the Department of Interior, which would bring immediately to the trust territory modern 3-engine jet aircraft.
Dominic Renda, currently the President and Chief Executive Officer of Western, was hired by Continental in our regulatory affairs in Micronesia and was made President of Air Micronesia. He did a superb job, both politically and operating-wise, in helping run Air Micronesia out there. Red Steuben and Barney Barnwell were the two technical people in Continental that made it possible to fly jets out there and made it possible to convince the FAA and our board of directors you could operate jets out there.
The operation was very exciting to me. The thing that impressed me most was the tremendous contrast of the modern-day jet airplane and the very primitive facilities at each airport that we went into, especially those in places like Yap and Truk. At that time, there were no administration buildings at all. Total airport facilities consisted of probably 1 or 2 thatched roof huts. The runways were coral, were covered with livestock that had to be chased off before each takeoff and landing. Communications were very primitive, and yet the 727 is an ideal airplane for that type of operation. And there was no doubt in our minds that we could operate through these islands with a perfect safety record and high reliability.
Well, the inaugural run, it was amazing. Many of the people in Micronesia had never seen a jet airplane. They'd been serviced by Pan Am and an old DC-4 that used to run around out there. And this was the first jet that had ever come through the territory. As a result, the word had gotten out on the radio, the local radio, and there would be as many as 8,000 and 10,000 people at these small island airports.
We started out here with 2 SA-16s, 1 DC-6, and 1 727, which is the one that's here right now. We had no runway at all at Pohnpei. We flew the amphibians into Pohnpei and landed on the water, serviced it on a seaplane ramp. The flew Gap and Roar the first 5 years because of the runway conditions. And since then we've got an all-jet operation out here.
Well, this evolution of the air service that has transpired was also changed drastically with the implementation of the service to Japan.
I am Father Costigan. I've been living on the island of Pohnpei since 1947. I came as a missionary, and I was only here a very, very short time when I realized that man is made up of body and soul, and that the body was very badly neglected in Micronesia. When you try to estimate the impact of Air Micronesia on the Trust territory, I have to be personal. For the first 20 or more years that I was here, if you wanted to go to Guam, it was 6 days by ship. A little later, we got some old PBY seaplanes. We had no airport on Pohnpei, and it took you about 11 or 12 hours to get to Guam. Then Air Micronesia came in, but unfortunately, they couldn't land on Pohnpei with those beautiful jets. So we had to get on a SA-16, which is a seaplane, and shuttle over to truck, which I did one afternoon. I remember distinctly, it was a Saturday afternoon. And after about 4 hours, we landed in truck, and we stepped off the seaplane, and there was this beautiful 727 with a big Air Micronesia flag on it. And we were directed that our plane was late and we should immediately board the jet. And as I walked up those back steps, I got the breath of beautiful air conditioning and the soft music. This cannot be Micronesia any longer. This has got to be John F. Kennedy Airport.
Castilelia, Father Castigan.
At the Pohnpei City ticket office, it's business as usual.
Castilelia, mine.
Oh, Castilelia.
I'd like to go to Denver.
Denver.
Ticketing and flight information.
Okay, the flights to Denver are everyday flight from Honolulu. Okay, and from here to Honolulu are Monday, Wednesdays, Thursday, and Saturdays.
Morning, Air Mic office.
Reservations.
This will be.
Communications.
This is the last of it, and I've got to get all these films to Guam today.
And air freight, the lifeline of Micronesia. All accomplished with that familiar Air Mic spirit.
72,000.
Since it's flight day, the entire island's activity centers at the terminal. As you can see, our jets still draw big crowds. At the airport ticket counter, it is not uncommon to receive odd items as personal baggage, like this rice bag, for example. We ship many taped cardboard boxes and even wrapped fish, like these, as passenger baggage. It all comes under the heading of Micronesian Samsonite. When the ground personnel have completed their security check and the passengers have boarded the aircraft, our flight crew takes over, making the passengers comfortable and familiarizing them with safety procedures.
At this time, we would like to familiarize you with emergency equipment on board our 727 aircraft.
And preparing for takeoff on the flight deck.
Very good. 80 knots.
That's our famous Air Mic teamwork. The specially designed galley is the focal point of our in-flight personal service. From here, our flight attendants serve drinks and food to our passengers.
Flying out here is special because of our spirit. And our spirit is created by a certain kind of magic that the people give to us. It's an infectious kind of magic. It makes you happy, makes you want to give. It's just very rewarding. The passengers or the flight attendants, they always stop to say hi or how are you? And they wait for an answer. We like each other.
Flying Air Micronesia is an experience by itself. The airplane is small, it's a 727. The reason that it is such a good service, mainly the girls are marvelous. The service is first class, and it's like a family.
The Air Mic pilots come from the domestic system of Continental Airlines. They bid into the Air Mic base at Honolulu just as they would any domestic base. However, there's a change that seems to come about when they come to Micronesia. They seem to be swept up by the spirit of Micronesia.
Air Micronesia is a very small, close-knit organization. I think all the pilots, all the hostesses, we know each other on a first-name, friendly basis. We know most of the station managers.
Continental Air Mic is manned by Micronesians from the ground service all the way up to the inside the plane. So you have this feeling of Micronesians from the ground all the way up to the inside the airline. We have seen the pilots of Continental Air Micronesia doing about 2 years ago when the strike came about. Yet the pilots for Air Mic still flown the planes in and out of Micronesia. Truck without Air Micronesia would mean that we have to go back about 200 years ago. Nothing comes in, nothing goes out. In many other areas, education, economics.
And before takeoff.
Anti-skid.
2 caps.
Strobe.
On.
Stereo.
On.
Window heat.
High.
Pitot heat.
On.
Transponder.
On.
And the Dopplers the way you want them.
There's 80 knots. Looking for 112. V1, rotate.
Pause right here. The reason why we have a mechanic on board the airplane is because there's nobody out here within the districts that's qualified to work on the aircraft. So instead of stationing people throughout the islands, it's a lot easier just to carry one guy and have him do all the necessary work for the aircraft. My main job up here is monitoring the aircraft's equipment up here. And if there's any malfunctions, my responsibility is to try to figure out what's wrong with the equipment, troubleshoot the system, and try to fix it once we land. there are some cases once in a while where you're not able to fix the problem. So you have to make your own mind up what you're going to do because you're the only one out here. I guess what makes me proud with this airline is that it's part of me. It's just part of, I feel like I'm part of the airlines. As far as I'm concerned, we're the best.
Coming up on 500 feet, +8, and a sink of 9.
We are on final approach to Guam, the hub of our operation. It's our center for flight attendants, reservations, maintenance, and air freight.
400 feet.
We also provide ramp and maintenance contract services for other airlines landing here.
300 feet, +2.
Here in Guam alone, we have Truckies, we have Chinese, we have Filipinos, we have Palauans. Myself, I'm a Panamanian. We have stateside-ers. This here is actually the melting pot. It's actually the hub of Air Micronesia. On a day-to-day basis, and even in the evening time, everybody just joins together and works together, and it rubs off on even the continental stateside-ers out here.
The ramp agents and the overall terminal operations personnel on Guam have a very, very high degree of pride. When asked to do something, they do it right away, and they do it with a very, very high degree of professionalism and concern.
We have something here that is sort of invisible. You don't see it, however you feel it, and that is what I call esprit de corps. Even our management employees here are not afraid of getting their hands soiled, getting out there and pitching in as one of their employees. Our employees respect that effort, and they know that whenever the need arises, they have someone behind them that will back them and support them in their efforts.
Air Mic started in 1968. At that time, we have a very small space with about 3 people working under cargo. Now, with the service we have this large amount of building here with 18 people, and it's just one big family. When I bring in people for an interview, I always ask them what would be their future goal. The first time I talk to the person, he says to me, "I want your job." I like those kind of people. These are the people that are going to make this company grow and continue growing.
Air 9, and we're very proud of that fact. We boarded almost 26,000 passengers out here, which is just incredible considering the conditions we fly with and the 3 airplane fleet that we have. I think most of that is due to the caliber of the people that we have out here. The agents here are hired on the same basis, I think, as they hire reservations agents anywhere in the mainland. They have to be outgoing. They've got to care about people's problems. They've got to want to get concerned and to help the traveling public.
Service means to me is making the customer happy, doing an extra job for them, and they asked us if we have a first-class fare, and we told them that we regret to say we don't have any first-class fare to Honolulu, the island hopping, but we do give a first-class service.
In this kind of business, you got to be able to smile. No matter how hard the day, you got to be smart to your customers. That means we'll make your passengers happy when he comes to the counter, and you show the big smile on the customers. That make his day and your day more easier.
Our department morale is different than you would see in a Los Angeles, our domestic operation, simply because we're small. We get to know everyone in our operation, from the flight crews down to the regional sales reps. I'd like to introduce Justino Ridal. Justino Ridal is one of our original A&P mechanics that came out of Palau and went to Honolulu to study. This is our jet engine for Air Mic aircraft, and due to the tough flying conditions, the life is halved and the cost of operation is doubled. The engine change procedure takes half the time as it does in our domestic counterparts. Now I'd like to introduce you to the world's largest aircraft hangar. We work here rain or shine.
The Air Mic family plays together as well as works together. A management-employee softball game gives everyone the opportunity to show their athletic prowess and blow off some steam. Is he safe? Is he out? Oh, well, let's eat.
Dinner is served. Doesn't anybody want to eat?
Fiestas are a Micronesian art.
The employees out here devote tremendous energy and time on the job making this airline what it is. By the same token, when the end of the day or the end of the shift comes, we like to get together as people away from the job, and I guess we do a pretty good job having fun as well as the effort we put forth when we're actually on the job.
Part of the beauty of Air Micronesia is the area itself, and our 727s are probably the fastest tour buses in the world.
Being this point off the right side, you got a good view of the new bridge that connects the island of Battledop. From here on down will be all the rock islands, and we'll be able to get a little lower and take a good view of them from the Hold It and all the way down to Peleliu.
On non-flight days, we spend most of our time at the CTO, where we sell tickets, getting involved in, releasing or accepting air freight, and, making reservations for our passengers. New Year's Day, 1978, we had a fire, that completely destroyed our city ticket office. Most of the items we used for our airport operation were destroyed. Day Miho, Dan Pers, and some other company officials were able to come down the very day we had the fire to assist us get back in operation. Okay, we were able to get the plane out because of the fact all the employees were able to come, and pitched in. Some of them were scheduled to be on vacation at that time, but because of the fire, they reported to work, in order to get the operation going.
Hi, my name is Alex Luzama. I am a Panapean. My position in the Air Micronesia is the Regional Service Supervisor for the Western region. And here I am in the land of stone money. In Yap, the traditional value is very important. Therefore, in Air Micronesia station here has to be very sensitive about the traditional values.
I've known and associated with Air Micronesia for the last 11 years, and I've been very impressed with the work they've been doing here in Micronesia, and especially here in Yap. I think the people who work the office here is very good people, and I feel at home every time I visit their office. I see that they have genuine interest in what they are doing. All around, I'm very impressed with what they stand for here in Micronesia.
Okay, this girl here is Antonia Mugunfeld, and she's a student on a job training. She's attending Yap High School. It's one of our local high school here on the island. And each year we have some students on the job training. Hopefully that sometimes in the future they will be working for Air Micronesia.
As Flight 652 from Guam lands in Yap, it blows an unprecedented 3 tires due to an anti-skid problem. Now we have an exciting opportunity to witness Air Mic teamwork in action. Justino Ridal, the in-flight mechanic, and First Officer Bill Smith discuss the plan of action. And Ridal begins supervision of changing the tires. Captain Bohan and First Officer Smith pitch in to help jack up the plane. Second Officer Kolstad spaces 2x4s underneath the assembly for safety.
What we're witnessing today is a good example of the people working together cooperatively and as a team to get this thing fixed so it can live here in lots of daylight. This airplane landed here this morning around 11 o'clock and got a flat tire. And they had this airplane, military airplane, flew in with some tools and tires, spare tires, and another commercial airline flown in with a mechanic to fix this thing. This is a very good example of what I mean when I say the people who work for the Air Micronesia work as a team and very dedicated people.
I've been involved in a couple of things like this with Air Mic, and to me the whole thing is performance. When you have something that demands something out of the ordinary, such as a situation like this where we had to work to beat the sun down, so to speak, and we didn't have time to go around and beg people to do this and that and set up everything real nice. We had to make do with what we had. It's just situations like that that seem to happen, not every day, but it happens quite frequently in trying to keep Air Mic alive. And I think that kind of typifies the spirit of the whole thing.
If everybody didn't contribute their effort there to get the tires changed, this airplane would have been remaining overnight instead of flying another revenue trip tomorrow into Palau.
Every once in a while, we've got to get out and do a little work like that. And it feels good once in a while to get out and get a little exercise. But probably all of us need a little more often.
It sure doesn't take any more effort for us to pitch in and help. Matter of fact, it's kind of nice learning about what goes on there. I've never seen them change a tire here on a 727, and I learned a lot today. And it was sure worth it from my standpoint to pitch in and help.
Saipan is the gateway to Continental Air Micronesia's international route to Japan. It's also the home of our general offices.
I think what Air Micronesia proved was that we could do it all the way. We could hire our own people, we could train them, that we had the know-how to build an airline in a totally cross-cultural environment.
Thank you, and have a nice trip.
Guam operations, Saipan ATO, go ahead.
The Saipan ATO, be advised, flight number 675, aircraft 475, departed Kwajalein at 0045 Zulu time, late 50 minutes, late 50 minutes. How copy?
Roger, Guam, copy. Okay, thank you. Ben, can you post that in, please? Jim, did you hear that?
Yeah.
Can we get a hold with the guys and advise them that we're running about 60 minutes late on that Narita flight, flight 675?
Yeah, sure.
Hey, Frank. Did you get the information on the Tokyo trip?
Yes, sir, I did. And it looks like about 60 minutes late right now.
We're going to have to do something on that, Frank. We're going to run into a crew legality problem up in Tokyo. And that trip coming back tomorrow, we have a significant tour group on that flight connecting to the 10 over in Guam. So what do you think is the best time we can do here in Saipan to reduce that ground time?
Well, maybe 15 minutes ground time, sir.
Geez, Frank, I really need 10. You think the guys could give us a little extra today and maybe cut it down to 10?
Well, the best that we've done is 12 minutes.
I'll tell you what, I'll make you guys a deal. If you can do it in 10 minutes, next Saturday night I'll do the cooking down at the house and we'll have everybody over for a barbecue. How'd that be?
Very good. How about 7?
7?
7 minutes, yeah.
You do it in 7 and I'll barbecue twice.
Okay, very good. That's fine.
You got yourself a deal.
Good.
The Micronesian employees that we have working here for Continental Air Mic, I find to be people like people are all over the world. I think sometimes we think that, you know, because a person's skin is perhaps a different color or they speak with a different accent, that their motivations are different. The people here are very dedicated. They have a delightful sense of humor. They have a very high level of honesty and integrity. They are motivated by the same things that motivate all of us. They want to be part of the team. They want to be recognized for what they do. And in turn for that, they just give you 195%.
I'm sitting here looking in the camera at the close of the filming of Air Micronesia with a very proud feeling. And looking back on the many years of work and dedication that have gone into this and achieving the great success our Micronesian employees and our Continental employees have done today. This film started out originally as a training film. It's now developed into something totally different. And my own motivation in sitting here is just as strong today as it was many years ago when we first bid with the Department of Interior to obtain this contract. And I hope, as I sit here before the camera, that I will have many more opportunities to see all of you, not only in Micronesia, but our employees on the mainland, with the same spirit and dedication that helped start Air Mic. I am personally proud to be a part of this. Thank you very much.